Hello, welcome to Patty and Robert's YouTube channel, where we talk about all things freelancing. I'm Robert Thompson, and this week I'm going to talk about expanding beyond Upwork and how you can diversify your freelancing income stream. Now, why does freelance diversification matter? Well, if you have additional platforms, you reduce this risk and the dependency on one platform. And actually, let me move my picture out of the way here. Um, Freelance markets are constantly changing. So there may be a new market that's better for the services you provide. So you want to look at that as well. And finally, multiple income streams include improved stability. So if you have more than one income stream, you're more likely to weather any problems you might run into. Now, what's the risk of a dependency on a single platform? There can be problems with changes within a platform. Algorithms may change and suddenly you're not getting bumped up as much as you used to. Um, Account suspensions. One bad review can severely impact your visibility, um, particularly if you have like 100% and you don't do that many jobs in a year. They're all big ones. One bad one can really knock you down for a while. And then fee increases. Platforms have been known to change their fees, and um, sometimes it's just not worth it anymore on certain platforms. There can also be difficulty finding work. Um, if you have clients may be concentrated on another platform. So you want to make sure that your services are the right ones for the clients that are on the platform that you're on. Um, and platform policies control client relationships. So um, a lot of times you can't do something with a client that you want to do because you're under an agreement for that client. A good one is with Upwork. If you do a job for a client, um, there's a period before you can go back and do more work for that client outside of Upwork. You can always do more work on Upwork, but Upwork wants you to stay with them for a period of time in exchange for getting you the job in the first place. Inconsistent project flow, depending on what clients you're finding. You may not be getting jobs coming in a consistent rate, and it's hard to pay the rent that way. And then finally, proposal fatigue and burnout. People get tired of writing proposals. And if you're on a platform where you're constantly looking for the next gig, then proposals are just a part of that platform. If you can find something where you have a relationship with a client and move forward, then you don't have to do proposals all the time. So some people just switch for that reason. So there are a lot of opportunities to expand your market. Um, you might want to look at geographic differences, the platform you're on, reaching all the markets that especially if your language specialization, that can take you into other areas. Industry specific clients, some clients tend to migrate towards specific clients. Um, Enterprise versus startup audiences. There's some platforms like Fiverr was always known as a startup type of job where you get smaller jobs. Now they've branched out and have a lot of good jobs, but you may not find the ones you want. There's probably a lot more enterprise clients on Freelancer or Total or several of the other ones. Um, so just different platforms attract a different buyer strategy. So you may find it better in a different platform. Um, Now, we've talked a lot about platforms, but there's really sort of two ways you can go. You can stay on a platform, and that doesn't mean a single platform. It could be if you're on uh, Upwork, you may want to go into a platform like Total that allows you to leverage more advanced knowledge. Or you may want to go to something like Freelancer, where you have a broader global reach. So there's different options with platforms. Um, the big thing with platforms, it reduces your risk. It's got a built-in payment system, so you don't have to worry about setting that up and building it. And it's really a lot easier to get market-based visibility. Um, the other option is to go independent. And with independent, you can get higher margins because you're not paying the flea fees to the site, and the buyer is not paying fees to the site, which takes a little away from you. You tend to get stronger client relationships because with the platform, the client relationship is primarily with the platform, not with you. You have greater control over the pricing, and you can do a long-term brand strategy that you really don't control when you're looking at a platform like Upwork. You can control the wording describing what you say, but not the look and feel and the other aspects of branding. Um, so one of the recommendations is use platforms strategically while building direct client relationships. Once you've got client relationships, you can take them private. Just again, follow the rules. So why does why diversification matters? Um, Different income streams are effective at different times. Um, you reduce the dependency on a platform. We've already talked about risk that can cut off your income suddenly. And external events can change your income and may make you think again. Think COVID. We actually had brought a boat, a sailboat, with us to Panama when we moved, and the idea was to start a charter service. It was a great boat for that. And we had a captain and we had a lot of people that were interested. And then COVID hit and Panama was shut down for 2 years. You couldn't even go between provinces, no less come in as a tourist. Eventually it just got too expensive to keep the boat. Um, but some areas that you can diversify income. One is to look at additional freelancing platforms. So stay in the safer area of having a platform, but move out into different platforms and multiple platforms. You can productize your services. You can do this within the platform or outside. You can do it within the platform and then move it outside. So that's something to consider. Direct client acquisition. This is where you go out and search for clients. This is good if you've got a good long network of people that you've worked with, or you have a big LinkedIn set of connections. So there's a lot of options there. Content-driven lead generation is another one. This is where you build client using what you know, or build content using what you know, and using that to find clients. Let the client find the content and use that to go to the next step. And then finally, digital products and recurring revenue. Um, Things like templates and worksheets, you can sell on either your own website or on a platform and make money that way. So, one thing to consider is using platforms as part of a diversified strategy. Platforms can be lead generation tools. So if you have worked with clients, you can always go back to those clients, especially if you get their email addresses, um, and just see if they have additional work outside the platform. Um, Remember that different platforms can serve different audiences, so um, you can go to different platforms and have more opportunities. Um, your profile content can often be reused from platform to platform. So you're not starting over again and reinventing the wheel. Um, Platforms help to fill gaps in your pipeline. So when you start doing direct work with clients, you may have gaps where they don't have anything for you to do. If you still have the option to go back on the platform, you can get additional work. So the idea is to use platforms strategically, but not necessarily exclusively. Um, I'm just going to dive a little bit more into types of platforms because there are a number of different platforms out there. Went too far. There we go. Um, some of the most common platforms are the project platforms or gig platforms. And these are where you go when you do a project for a client. Um, So the platforms are general purpose. Clients go on them and look for freelancers who can do a wide range of services. Um, and from the freelancer standpoint, there's a broad reach, but it is easy to get lost. So some of these, we've talked about Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer. TopTal is a little more elite. They have a much um, tighter restrictions on getting started. Guru, um, people per hour. These are all different platforms that you can look at. Um, Additional project platforms. Contra is one for remote professionals that has gotten a lot of people, especially in IT, people that worked in enterprise environments. Contra might be a good fit for you if you want to work remotely. Flex jobs, we work remotely. They're both remote work listings. LinkedIn services, if you have access to LinkedIn, and you have a network there, you can sell your services through LinkedIn. Bark is more local, so let's global. 99 Designs is an example of one that focuses on um, design clients. Uh, and this is just a small subset of all the ones that are there. Um, There's also some elite consulting type platforms like A-Team, Catalent, and Simply Hired that you can look at if you have specialized skills and you want to do more consulting type work. Um, Now, a lot of these require you to work full time. And for many of our clients, that's a consideration because if you're retired or semi-retired, you may not want to work full time. Um, Now, the other aspect is advisory or coaching platforms. These are platforms where you can go and get vetted for your expertise and then answer people's questions. So, if you're a nurse or a doctor, you can answer medical questions. Um, if you're a lawyer, you might answer legal questions. If you're a builder, you might answer do-it-yourself questions. So there's a number of different ones with slightly different um, models that they use. So again, these are more ad hoc, where somebody poses a question, you go in and answer it. Um, Mentoring and tutoring. Again, there's a lot more than this, but these are opportunities to work. Things like Cambly, English coaching is one that's used globally. And so students around the world, their parents may hire someone on Cambly to help their client learn English. Um, Volunteer networking on ADP list. So again, there's quite a few. And if you just do some Googling, you can find a lot more. Um, Now, we talked in general about where to work. This is a little more about how to work. Productized services are something you should consider whether you're working on a platform or independent. And productized services are simply repeatable services where you have predefined deliverables and pricing. Um, so a lot of platforms like Upwork offers its product catalog where you can do this. And then examples, a website audit package, a general edit of a document with this limited number of reviews, an AI workflow setup, uh, resume optimization. Um, the number of different examples of things you can do as a product type service. And you know what you've done and what you might be resellable. So you want to look at that. And then the key is putting it in a format where you have the tools in place. You can do it very quickly and easily and offer it at a fixed price. Um, it's a much easier sales price process than custom consulting. The pricing is more predictable. And it's easier to scale. If you have the tools built, you can sell a lot of um, copies of an audit, for instance, without doing a lot of extra work. And it also controls your scope creep. When you're doing custom work, it's easy to say, well, I thought that meant you were going to give me A, B, C, D, and E, and you had only committed to A and B. So it does help with that. Um, Now, getting into other approaches, one is direct client acquisition. If you've got a good network of people you've worked with before, you may not need to go through a platform. You can go directly to the client. And direct clients most likely pay more and stay longer, and they allow you to avoid platform fees. Um, and you can get to these in a lot of the classic networking ways, referrals, networking, LinkedIn, um, local business. Now, the one caveat with these is you are taking on all the responsibility of the business aspects of this. So you need a payment system. The client needs to be able to pay you, and you need to be able to keep track of it for tax purposes. And you need to keep track of your clients. Some type of customer relationship system is probably recommended. So, practical acquisition tips. Here we get into a little bit more. Um, you want to build a CRM or a customer relationship management system. You may start with a spreadsheet. Um, there are a lot of tools out there that are CRM based that can help you. But you want some place where you keep all your contacts with your client in one place. So you can go back 12 months later and say, oh, what was that person that thought they might need something? And then you can go back to them and ask them if they need that now. Um, and you want to use that to build your prospect list as well. Ask for any introductions that they might have. Um, and the thing with um, client acquisition, you want to be very specialized. You don't want to be a generalist. Because clients, when they're working with you directly, when there's no consulting firm around you, uh, they want to know that they're hiring somebody to do one specific task. Um, and build those relationships over time. Um, so another option, content-driven lead generation. Content can be a long-term asset. Winston Churchill, who actually founded Barefoot Consultants, who gave us our initial training, um, he started by building a course, and that course was content that he could resell, and he did. Um, it's gone through several revisions and now actually a total rewrite, but that content lasted 10 years and he sold thousands of copies. Um, the other thing with client content is it builds you as an authority. Um, People will start to trust you and show that you have expertise. It also helps you get some leads because people who see your content may reach out to you. Some content channels include YouTube, blogging. Um, there are a lot of blogging sites, or you can do it on your own website, LinkedIn post, newsletters, um, podcasts, and webinars. All are ways where you can record it once and then sell it multiple times. Some ideas, case studies, uh, what not to do. People love those. Industry trends, tutorials, specifically if you know a particular product, behind the scenes processes. Um, so if you know how to build something, you can talk to people about what they need to do to actually make it happen. Um, and like I said, it improves visibility, builds credibility, and allows you to get to more people. Uh, Digital products and recurring revenue. Um, Anybody who's a business owner knows that small recurring revenue reduces financial risk because that's stuff you can count on month in, month out, while you're trying to go after the bigger prizes. So some things you can do here, you can sell templates, um, courses, um, workshops, paid newsletters, ebooks. You can publish your own books, prompt libraries, toolkits. You can build toolkits to do things. So there's a number of different things that you can sell. Um, there are some platforms that are specific for digital products, like Gumroad. YouTube is big for videos. Teachable for courses. Kajabi um, is a full creator business system. So that's one that's got a CRM built in as well as tools to help you sell your products. And then Patreon that builds membership communities. So people that want to pay extra to get extra access or extra knowledge. So, one of the keys to being successful is building your personal brand. Um, Clients hire when they recognize you as an expert. Um, and if you're visible as a professional or you're a trusted expert, that helps. But you also want to have clear brand elements, like you want to have a tight niche. You don't want to try and do everything. You want a consistent messaging and format, so a tone, coloration. You'll notice the slides we use in our presentations always use the same font and background. Well, that's on purpose. That's part of our brand. Professional profile and photo. If you don't have one, get one. Um, Portfolio and case studies. So this is good to help people see that what you've done and how you can help them. Testimonials. It's always good to go back to your clients and get testimonials. And then thought leadership, things like white papers, or jumping in on discussion groups can help as well with your brand. And the key is you want to position yourself effectively. Um, Example here, I do IT consulting? Well, one, it starts with an I, which is a problem. Um, but IT consulting, it's all about you. The second one uses an I, but it goes right into I help small businesses. So I help you modernize operations, use AI and automation. So you want to turn things around and focus it on the client and always think in terms of how you're helping the client. And the more specific you make it, the more you can differentiate yourself. Um, now, to start doing some of the things we talked about, you need some systems, and those business systems can create stability. One you don't often think of as a system, emergency fund. Well, yeah, you need to have some money to make it through the rough times if you're doing work that's cyclic. Um, you want to be able to track your revenue, and you absolutely have to track your revenue and expenses for taxes. Um, you want to track your contracts. So, what did you sell? What did they buy? You want to track your clients. Uh, when did you talk to them? How did you meet them? You may want notes on what you did. So client management systems are key. And then time management systems are helpful to keep you up to date and schedule your time. So some tools, there's just a couple here, and there's probably a few dozen others that we could talk about. Um, QuickBooks. If you're planning to grow, QuickBooks is great. Personally, we just use Quicken with the business um, for small business because it's only the two of us, so we don't have um, the complexity that requires a QuickBooks. But if you're doing a lot of platforms, you might. Notion, keeping track of things. Uh, Kajabi is a tool. Actually, we're just moving to, it's basically a CRM that has a lot of other tools built into it. Um, so it's more expensive, but it includes a lot of tools that you pay more when you pay a la carte. HubSpot's very similar to Kajabi in terms of its market. Um, Zoom, you're going to need some way to communicate with the clients. And if it's not built into one of your other tools, you need to get a paid Zoom subscription because you don't want to be restricted to 40 minutes, I think it is, on your meetings with clients. Calendly, we currently use Calendly as a scheduler. You need some type of scheduler. A lot of the tools now are coming with schedulers built in, so you may be able to substitute. Um, and if push comes to shove, don't forget spreadsheets. Um, if you don't have a way to keep track of your clients, at least put them in a spreadsheet. You can always add notes on your spreadsheet. Um, so some mistakes to avoid. One is to try and do too much too quickly, trying too many platforms. Then you lose focus. Inconsistent content creation. If you say you're going to do a weekly blog, do a weekly blog. Um, and by the way, that also means when you say, "Oh, I'm going to do a weekly blog," think it's through because there's a lot of work involved with that, and a lot of people start out weekly and suddenly go to monthly. Not building an email list, not keeping track of those clients, um, staying too generalized, um, and ignoring the relationship building, not going back and talking to those clients. You want to do that. And then the other option is the other extreme, waiting too long to diversify. Um, then you're at risk with a single platform. So, important thing is focus and consistency outperform intensity. So, realistically, remember that diversification takes time. The momentum compounds slowly, but it does compound. Um, and Content may take months to generate leads, but if it's out there and people can see it and people start finding it, it starts to build leads. Relationships create delayed opportunities. So you may talk to somebody now and they may remember you in 4 months, 5 months, and say, oh, I remember this person who could do exactly what you need. Um, Consistently matters more than intensity. And then finally, think long term. Build your systems gradually and sustainably. Don't invest too much money in any one thing, especially at the beginning. And a lot of tools offer pricing plans to help you get started. So finally, the goal is not to escape freelancing. The goal is to create more resilience, profitability, and sustainability in your freelancing business. So if you want to get started, and you should, create a diversification plan. Actually think through what you can do to diversify and build on your existing strengths. Don't try and go to something brand new. Um, but reuse and monetize previous work. If you've got work you've done for clients, sanitize it, get rid of all client references, and then show how you can use it for new clients. And then develop long-term asset, things that you can sell again and again. So that's all for today. See you in our next video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you need coaching, contact us. We're always available at info@rptvirtualservices.com. And we do offer free consultation to help you get started.